Coming up on today's San Francisco 49ers Report, Chase Sr. hanging out here with you. We have some important Niners roster news. And also, in the final 3 games of the year, Kyle Shanahan and the Niners need to figure this out. Stay tuned for all of that. It's a loaded show, but I do want to give you a programming alert and a reminder. Join us for our Niners-Dolphins watch party coming up on Sunday. We'll be live right here on the channel, the best place to experience a Niners game day outside of being at the actual game. We'll do a pregame show live during the game, postgame show after the game, super chat giveaways, a whole lot of fun, and we hope to see you there, so hit that sub button. Is Trent Williams out for the season? It looks like that could be the case for the star left tackle. Kyle Shanahan hinted this week we might not see him again this year. Where this all started, and he's had a bevy of ankle issues over the last few years. He's so big and nimble, and sometimes those ankle injuries creep up on him. He suffered an ankle injury this year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that Week 10 thriller when Jake Moody missed those 3 field goals and then redeemed himself at the buzzer for that huge win at the time. And then Trent Williams received a pain injection to play the following week against Seattle. We know what happened in that game. Niners blow a lead. They're up with under 2 minutes to go. Geno Smith leads that game-winning drive, runs it in for the score, and that was really what signaled the end of the Niners' 2024 season. And Trent Williams since then has not played, and he has been seen non-weight bearing, not putting any weight on that ankle, riding around with the scooter. During the game on Thursday night against the Rams, he wasn't the Trent Williams that they showed on the sideline. They got that mistake on the Amazon broadcast. He was, though, in a box with his foot elevated. This is an injury that just has not gotten better. And this has been a disastrous season all around for San Francisco with everything going against them. All of these injuries, blowing these games. It's truly been a dark cloud type of year and a Super Bowl hangover. Same could be said for Trent Williams. He held out, was not at training camp, didn't play in the preseason, didn't play until week 1, and has suffered injuries all year, got paid, obviously, after that holdout, and then suffers another ankle injury, and on a personal note, just awful circumstances. Lost twin boys. One was stillborn, one was lost during pregnancy. Just awful. So our thoughts and prayers for Trent Williams, and some positive health vibes for him. I hope that he's able to get back on the field and healthy. When he was on the field and healthy, I know that some people have said he didn't deserve that contract. He wasn't playing well. He was playing well. He was a top 10 offensive tackle in the game. And at his age, in his latter 30s, it's impressive what he's doing. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 85.6. That was 7th among all offensive tackles. A pass blocking grade of 84.5. That ranked 8th. Run blocking grade of 81.4. 10th. 1 sack allowed and only gave up 3 hits of Brock Purdy. 17 pressures, a little bit higher than what you would want, but everybody along that offensive line, outside of really Dominic Pooney, has had a down year, or at least an up and down year this year. Even Colton McKivitz has actually played well at times, but he's had his bad moments. The good news is, with Trent Williams being out, we are seeing a developmental story transpire and take place. Jaylen Moore has stepped in, and he has played extremely well in Trent Williams' absence. He has put together an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 77.9. That's 17th at the position. Pass blocking grade of 78.5. That's 24th. Run blocking grade of 71.3. Here's the thing. He has not committed a penalty. That's first among offensive tackles. He has not surrendered a sack. That's first among offensive tackles. And he's only given up 8 pressures on 226 snaps. He is set to be an unrestricted free agent. Ideally, you'd want him to be back as a high-level backup for this team and a Trent Williams insurance policy. Unfortunately, because teams always are looking for offensive line help, and especially at that tackle spot with a right-handed thrower protecting the blind side, he might get paid in free agency. And before you say this, because I know a lot of you are saying it already in the comment section, Chase, move him over to right tackle. Have him take over for Colton McKivitz. This is a young player who's developing. He's not comfortable playing right tackle, unfortunately, and it's a bummer for the Niners. Otherwise, you could save at that position, have him play at right tackle, and I think that he would be better than McKivitz. Elsewhere here for some Niners roster movement and roster news, after losing running backs Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Elijah Mitchell to season-ending injuries, it now looks as if the 49ers will be without running back Isaac Guerendo for Sunday's game against Miami. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, unlikely to play per source. That coming from ESPN's Adam Schefter. And this is also a shame because the end of the year with the Niners out of the playoff hunt is about youth player development. You want to see Guerendo getting reps, especially given his inexperience. He started one college game at his career between Wisconsin and Louisville, and we've seen the flashes of him being maybe a special player. But when he's not able to get that time and these injuries resurface, it's a little bit of a problem. And I tweeted this out on my X page. You can give me a follow at Chase_Senior. Might be a better follow than Shefty. I'm just saying. That Guerendo unlikely to play. And this was one of my big concerns, with Isaac Guerendo in the pre-draft process. I was at the NFL Scouting Combine, scouted him, watched some of the tape. I watched him live run that 4.3 40-yard dash, and I said, wow, he did that at 6 feet, 225 pounds. That's impressive right there, but has a long history of hamstring issues. This happened in college. This happened earlier this year in training camp. Got past that, but still, in 2019, missed the first 8 games due to a hamstring injury, and then in 2020, missed the final 6 games, and now he's missing another game during his rookie year with that hamstring issue. Not sure if it's the same leg, it's the foot sprain, but either way, a little bit of a concern as you project forward. Because this is what he's capable of doing. You know, in 14 games this year, he's had only 73 carries, but he's made the most of it. 381 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an average yards per carry of 5.2. So with him out, and with Elijah Mitchell out, Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason out, here are the running back options for the Niners in this game against Miami. Patrick Taylor elevates to RB1. He's more of a special teams player. Keyshawn Vaughn, RB2. Israel Abanikanda, who is an intriguing player with 4.3 speed. He had a really solid season his final year at Pitt in 2022, where he rushed for 20 touchdowns and more than 100 yards in like 9 of 11 games. He got waived by the Jets, picked up by the Niners. He could be a part of this rotation. And then Deebo Samuel expected to get some carries as well. He's gotten carries all year, even though he's averaging a career low, less than 3 yards per pop, and the play is predictable. It doesn't work anymore. Who you got in this game? Type SF for the Niners or MIA for the Miami Dolphins. And if you type MIA, you're not talking about Deebo Samuel. It's about the prediction for this game. Coming up next, the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan have to figure this out. Stay tuned for that conversation coming up just around the corner. But I want to tell you about our friends at Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the game and the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 200 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And you can make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks. Because right now, when you play $5, you get $50 instantly. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Thursday Night Football, great matchup with a lot of playoff implications in the AFC in that wild card race between the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers. Bo Nix, more than a half passing touchdown. Cortland Sutton, more than a half rushing or receiving touchdown. Justin Herbert, more than 234.5 passing yards against one of the top defenses in the NFL in Denver, which leads the league in sacks. And then Cameron Dicker the kicker, more than 1.5 field goals made. So pick more, pick less, run your game with Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Pick 2 or more players, choose more or less on their projected stats, and you can win up to 200 times your cash. To round out the show, there are 3 games left here in the 2024 season for the Niners and San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan. They need to figure this out. Can Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing be featured wide receivers for this team in 2025 and beyond? If not, San Francisco might have to draft a wide receiver in April's draft. And the Niners need to figure this out because even if playing Pearsall and Cowing comes at the expense of Deebo Samuel getting benched or him not getting as many snaps, you have to do it for the big picture of this organization. You took Pearsall in round 1. Clearly you thought highly of the player. You took Jacob Cowing in round 4. You like the player. And we have seen flashes of them being NFL contributors or very solid NFL players potentially. But you can't figure that out if you don't give them some tick. And the game plan last week against the Rams was asinine. Deebo Samuel complained about touches. The Niners bent over backwards to make him happy and appease him. And in turn, San Francisco, they played in the past. They ended their season in doing that partially, and they didn't have foresight. They didn't look ahead. And it cost them that game, and it's costing them crucial developmental time for 2 rookies who you need to figure out if they can play and if they can contribute next year. Because if not, this draft has to be a home run for this organization as they reset this team a little bit and this roster. And Deebo in 2024, 43.8 receiving yards per game, career low. 1 touchdown. There are players who don't even play wide receiver. There are quarterbacks and offensive linemen across the league and defensive players who have as many, if not more, touchdowns than Deebo. And that's tied for a career low in touchdowns. Back in 2020, Deebo only played 8 games. It's not good. His 13.2 yards per catch, 3rd lowest. His 2.8 yards per carry, that is the lowest of his career. And he has 43 catches, which is the 2nd lowest. And with Pearsall, how about the jet sweep, which went for 40 yards against the Dallas Cowboys? Patience, let the block set up, and was able to round the corner, run up the sideline. We saw some juice on that play. The touchdown catch against the Buccaneers for 45 yards on the crosser. He beat Antoine Winfield, one of the top safeties in the game, to the pylon. He had some giddy up there. So what Kyle Shanahan must do is simply target him. Get creative in finding ways to get him involved. The same can be said for Jacob Cowing. In the preseason, how about the little stutter go? Catching that long ball over the shoulder from Josh Dobbs. What have the Niners missed this year? Guys who can separate. Deep ball threats. Cowing has that to his game. The end around in the preseason. He had some speed to turn the corner. There was a little bubble screen in which he picked up 8-9 yards. That was impressive. And so it is the coach's job to find ways to get their playmakers involved. And if they're not getting open, find ways to allow them to make a play. Jet sweep, handoff, reverse, bubble screen. These are easy elementary level school things. And I know Kyle Shanahan thinks about it because we've seen it before. And so play Pearsall, play Cowing. And if you don't play Deebo, it ain't making your offense worse. Shoot, it could make your offense better if you're not force-feeding him the football. Would you bench Deebo for Pearsall and Cowing? Very interested to see what people say here. Type Y for yes or type N for no. As you do that, be sure to give me a follow on X, Instagram at Chase_Senior. Large following on social media covering the Niners. So if you want additional Niners content, catch me over there.